Hello everyone, my name is Relax and Panic, and this is another reaction to Death Note. It is episode 24, and as always, if you want to see the reaction itself, just go down into my descriptions, follow the links, replace the parentheses, dot plots with real dots, and enjoy. But please be aware, this time I messed up a slightly bit, and you may have up here the wrong picture. So don't worry about it, it is still the correct reaction. See you then. To those that came back, welcome back. Now with the correct picture in the upper corner. So let's talk about this episode, right? I liked it, and I like the planning that sorry, just hit the table. I like the planning that Light / Kira did beforehand. But it is weird to me, as it was in many episodes already now, that it feels like L is really losing his edge, like he's letting things slip, that he's not checking enough, you know? He keeps Misa and Light so close all the time to watch them, to make sure they do not conspire, they do not talk with each other about stuff he should know. And yet, we once again in this episode had a lot of moments where they were able to communicate, where L did miss important things, you know? I kind of hope that later on in other episodes we will realize that it did not happen, that instead he did get the informations. So what am I talking about in this episode? So we had the fake rules in the notebook, and it is shown as if L fell for it completely and instantly let Misa and Light go. The very next thing, really the very next thing Misa does is going into this park, digging out the Death Note. I mean, just saying, what if instead he would have sent for, I don't know, a week, one of his spies behind her? And he has people like that. He has what was her name? Weedy, the thief, right? She should be good enough at covered ops to follow Misa. So he had the option there. So it's a bit weird that he completely gives up in this moment. It's it doesn't fit the way that he was portrayed before. And that's something I'm a bit grumpy about. So that's the one thing. We had a bit help in the beginning by Aizawa, so they still have friends and the police who try to help where they can. And we had finally other characters seeing Rem. So that is a major thing in my opinion, because let's say everything goes as planned for Kira. And he kills off L, he removes every opposition there is. Still, there are many people now who have seen Rem, who know that Shinigami do exist. One of them is Light's father. Would he really kill him? I don't think so, because it's not necessary. Although I discussed this in the past, that I believe he has it in him by now. He became evil enough to kill his own family if needed. But there are so many informations now that are out, at least in the investigation squad around L, having the Death Note, knowing the rules that are in there, knowing how it's done. Strange. That is one thing. Then L got the idea when he saw that there is a Shinigami and he knew there's a Death Note, that there was this comment of, we will show each other our notes, our notebooks. So he had this memory back in the Flash when he sat in the helicopter. And I remember that this was a comment that Misa, second Kira, did towards the first Kira. And at this time it did not really ring a bell for L. Now it does. He knows there's a Death Note, a notebook. We will show each other our notebooks. So he knows there's at least one more notebook out there. He knows it has to be somewhere, right? And knowing that, he just did not connect all dots yet, I think. But he knows more now, and I don't know, man. It feels like he's slipping a bit, like he's not having the grip anymore. We will see. I really like the moment which I have as a picture here. So Light touches the Death Note, and it all comes back. And I talked about that in the last, I think, 2 episodes commentaries and discussions. What will happen if he realizes it was me all the time? You know, you have Light against Kira, light against darkness, you could say. Light without Kira was still like an honest soul who really believed, who really tried, who wanted to catch Kira, who thought it was wrong, although there were some small parts in where he felt like, well, that is a bit like me, you know? But in general, he was like, I couldn't do something like that. I couldn't murder people. And that is, you know, his own image of himself. And then there's one way of realizing it was me, you know, slowly and painfully. Or, as it happened here, in an instant, like that, with a snap of the fingers. All the memories came back, and his light soul, his positive attitude and beliefs were just burned away by Kira, by the person he has become over the time there. But this time it didn't happen over time, it was instantly, which I think is why he was shouting, crying like that, you know? It is his soul being kind of ripped apart and ripped into pieces. Seeing how other people reacted, I was surprised that L did not really react more to it than he did. I mean, in my opinion, this was a clear finger point to there is something abnormal there. You know, he was not shouting so much about seeing Rem. He was shouting about something inner, something really evil and problematic, harsh, and there are different ways of people shouting and crying, you know? And I had the privilege of never having heard real shouts of anguish and deepest fear and deepest hate or pain that people may have ever shouted. Others have when they were in a war zone or when they were really in trouble, like, I don't know, being squeezed, scratched under a car or stuff like that, being in severe pain, or having people they love being in severe pain and them not being able to help. I think in this moment, people do act and scream in a way that is horrifying. And I think this scream here was one of those. At least they tried to portray it in my opinion. So it's weird that L did not react to this either, and it's once again bolstering my arguments from before. They talked about the switcheroo that they did with the notebooks. So they gave the notebook from one Shinigami to the other Shinigami, then handed it over. So pretty clearly, pretty clever by doing so. You could remember both Shinigamis. And in the end, the notebook that was used all the time, although Rem handed it over, was not really his notebook. It was the notebook of... Sorry, no, it was the notebook of Rem. I'm getting confused already. It was a notebook of Rem, while the notebook of Ryuk was hidden and buried. But they did a switcheroo just to make sure that it will work in the future, that you remember what is needed to be remembered. And I think it is something about that the last owner of the notebook has to die to get ownership. And I ask myself, if you give it from one Shinigami to the other, is that a new owner? I don't think so. It's not worked like that. I think there's more in that, but I am not completely sure about it. I will have to watch that again. What exactly was that for? We will see. Misa touching Light with a piece of paper from the notebook so that he remembers Ryuk. Sure, all makes sense. The little piece of paper in the watch was from Rem. that is something which I don't understand why. Because he could have taken a piece of paper from the notebook of Ryuk instead. And by doing so would have had the memories instantly at this moment. And I think he couldn't remember because it would have been bound to Ryuk's book. Possibly that's why. But he could have, like, I don't know, hidden 2 pieces of paper in there. Just saying, one from Rem, one from Ryuk. You don't remember the one, but the other. You open it up, hey, what's that? Bang, memory is back. And he wrote down the name of Higuchi, killing him by doing so, being the new owner to the Death Note. Sure, working. I found the timing weird because he was sitting next to L doing it, using his own blood to write it down. Nice, all a good idea. He had the piece of paper there all the time. So I asked myself if he may have had someone in the past set up like a timer and information, anything to say like look into your watch, and then by doing so finding for himself. But then he couldn't have timed it. Surely, I guess. I think it had to be in this way. So just in case, L is not in the room or camera or whatever. You cannot say before. However, while he wrote down, he still had the notebook in the hand. And if you know about the 40-second frame, that's just screwed there. Because L would say, well, I don't see the name in here, but you had it in your hand. So what? It's strange. Let me see. Anyone would be surprised by that monster, surely. I want to check because I'm not sure about the piece of paper. There it is. I'll kill Higuchi without letting go of this notebook. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure whose piece of paper it is. So it might be from both, but it has to be from Rem's notebook because otherwise he would have had remember Ryuk already. So it has to be from the notebook of Rem, which means you can use it in this moment when you have it, even if the original owner is still alive. So I think it's an important thing. Yeah. The fake rules I talked about already, so that you are not allowed to destroy it or people will die. Sure, by doing so you make sure they don't destroy it, which in my opinion, I mean, let's be honest, it would be the perfect solution from the view of L, right? This Death Note captures people, makes them become evil because given ultimate power, right? And so let's just destroy the Death Note. That's it, right? And even then, now there would be the chief and Mogi dying. It would be like, I mean, it's hard, and who is it to say so? But it's too life for like, I don't know, endlessly. But knowing that there is like one more or even multiple more, would you destroy it? I mean, it's your only proof that you have it's your only option to communicate with the Shinigami. So that was a clever lie there. And the other one, not bad either. This 13 days thing, you have to kill at least once in 13 days. Okay. I mean, it's a thing he just set up a lie to make sure that Misa and himself are out of the frame because they haven't had touched it in this time. So it couldn't have been them because otherwise they would have died. That was the, the rule. Makes no sense still, we have seen live on camera together with L the instant change in both in Kira. Oh well, Kira played mainly in Misa, so we have seen the instant change, and that is something that was weird. So it's suspicious, and I don't know, I haven't seen it written down properly, but shouldn't there be like a difference between the writing styles? Couldn't you see it's newer? It was written down later on. Couldn't you be suspicious that it is on those two rules are on those last parts of the book instead of where every other rule is set? I'm not sure. As I said, all those questions I would have been waiting for to hear from L, and there is nothing from him at the moment. And I don't know, that's weird, you know? So we will see where this is going. I kind of hope that in the next episodes he will open up. There will be again Kira versus L. And we will realize that L did knew more and just keeps himself covered now. Misa making a deal for the ice again. Not much of a surprise there. And it is according to the plan of Kira for sure, because he doesn't want to have her around, right? She is a problem for him. And if she lowers her lifetime again and again and again, she will die eventually, you know, just like that. And I guess that Rio kind of told him, like an amount of time she has left. Maybe not exactly, but like, you know, if she halves it again, you will not have to keep up with her very much longer. Just say. So it's working out pretty good for Kira at the moment. Interesting will be, however, what the reaction of Rem will be. Because he is kind of betrayed there. He got promised that he will save Misa, and he did, sure, by the word. But by making her give up half her lifetime again, she will not be around for very long, I guess. So for him it is like, okay, you kept your word, but still you're betraying me because you know I wanted to have more time with her. So that might be a new enemy building up there, but I'm pretty sure that Light is aware of that, so he has a plan for that in the backhand, and we will see soon. That's it from me this time. As always, I hope you liked it. I did for sure. Comment, like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next episode. Until then, my name is Relax and Panic. Goodbye and out.